Your porch looks sad right now. Brown, empty, dead looking. But what if I told you that you don't have to accept a dull winter garden? What if you could wake up every single morning and see something beautiful outside your front door, even when snow is on the ground and ice covers the walkway? That's exactly what we're going to show you today on Seniors Gardening Advice. I'm Sam, and we've put together a complete list of 8 incredible plants that will not only survive freezing temperatures, they'll actually make your outdoor space look amazing all winter long. Don't miss this. Hit that subscribe button right now. Better yet, hit subscribe and turn on your notifications so you never miss another gardening tip from our channel. While you're at it, give this video a like. It helps us create more content just like this.
Why winter containers matter. Here's something most people don't understand. Winter doesn't mean your garden has to disappear. Your porch doesn't have to look like a ghost town for 4 months. In fact, winter is one of the perfect times to showcase some of the most striking plants nature has to offer. We talked to real gardening experts who work with plants every single day. We spoke with Diana Patterson, who runs a popular gardening education platform called Garden Genius. We also spoke with Robert Holmes, an experienced landscape designer and creator of the well-known landscaping resource site, Greenscape Chronicles. These professionals know what works. They know which plants will make it through the coldest nights, and they know which ones look stunning while doing it. Make sure you share this video with your gardening friends. Your neighbors need to know about these plants too.
Hardy container plant number 1, coral bells, or Heuchera. Let's start with something that will absolutely blow your mind when it comes to color. Diana Patterson, our plant expert from Garden Genius, recommends coral bells, also known by its scientific name Heuchera, if you want something that gives you amazing color all through the winter months. This isn't just a green plant. This is a plant with personality. The real magic with coral bells is the leaves, Deanna explains. You get these stunning colors that change with the seasons. We're talking deep purple, beautiful silver tones, rich greens, and even golden amber colors. Different varieties show different colors. Some are almost black purple, others are bright silver. The leaves are thick and textured. They have ridges and patterns that catch the light. This makes them perfect for winter displays when everything else is boring and flat. You can mix coral bells with other winter plants to add life and depth to your container arrangements. What makes coral bells really special for beginners and experienced gardeners alike? They don't need much care during the winter. As long as your pot has drainage holes at the bottom, and this is really important, your coral bells will be happy. Put them in a spot that gets some shade, not direct sunlight all day. When spring comes around, cut away the dead leaves that turn brown. This stops disease from spreading. Hardiness zones 4 to 9. Hardy container plant number 2, Yucca. Now let's talk about making a statement. If coral bells is beautiful and subtle, then Yucca is bold and dramatic. Robert Holmes from Greenscape Chronicles has strong opinions about Yucca. He says, "This is the plant if you want something that looks modern and edgy." Yucca has these sharp, spiky leaves that point straight up. The foliage is evergreen, which means it stays green all year. But those leaves are like natural sculpture. Some yucca varieties bloom in summer with beautiful flowers, but even when the flowers are gone, the leaves do all the talking. They're striking, they're dramatic, they make people stop and notice. Robert continues, "The best part about yucca? It's nearly impossible to kill. It tolerates drought beautifully. If you sometimes forget to water your plants, yucca is your friend. Just don't let it sit in wet soil. Make absolutely sure your pot has great drainage." Here's what Robert suggests for styling. Plant your yucca in a modern container, something sleek and contemporary. Then pair it with a trailing ivy or ornamental grass around the base. The contrast between the spiky yucca and the flowing soft plants creates visual interest and makes your porch look professionally designed. Yucca loves sunlight. Put it in the brightest spot you have. Give it water only when the soil feels dry deep down. Even in winter when the plant is dormant, it needs very little attention. Hardiness zones 4 to 10. Hardy container plant number 3, Hellebore. Hellebore might be the winter plant nobody talks about, but everybody should know about. Deanna Patterson is passionate about hellebores. She says these plants deserve more attention. They're incredibly tough. They don't ask for much, and they bloom right when you need them most. Late winter and early spring, when everything else is still sleeping. Here's what makes hellebore special. Even when it's not blooming, the dark green leaves look incredible against the gray sky. The foliage is deep, rich, and provides visual interest in a time when most plants look dead. But the real magic happens in late winter. As spring approaches, hellebore produces flowers. These are exotic-looking blooms in white, soft pink, deep burgundy, or even pale green. They look tropical. They look like they shouldn't be blooming in winter, but they are, right there on your porch. For best results, put hellebore in a spot that gets partial shade. It doesn't want direct afternoon sun. It prefers spots under trees or shrubs where it gets dappled light and protection from harsh elements. The #1 killer of hellebore is wet soil. The roots sit in soggy ground and rot. That's it, your plant is done. So when you're planting hellebore in a container, use soil that drains really well. Mix in extra perlite or sand to improve drainage. Make sure your pot has plenty of drainage holes. Deanna says, once established, hellebore is basically maintenance-free. You just enjoy watching it bloom. Hardiness zones 4 to 9. Hardy container plant number 4, Powis Castle Artemisia. Let's talk about a plant that looks expensive but is really easy to grow. Powis Castle Artemisia. Robert Holmes recommends this plant for people who want their winter display to look sophisticated and upscale. He says Powis Castle Artemisia has these feathery, silvery leaves. The foliage is delicate looking, but actually super tough. It looks expensive. It looks professional. You could put it in a high-end resort and nobody would question it. The silver-gray color of the foliage works with almost any other plant. You can pair Artemisia with colorful berries from holly plants for a festive, holiday look. You can mix it with evergreens for a classic winter arrangement. You can even grow it alone, and it looks perfect. Best of all, Artemisia is drought-tolerant. It doesn't need constant watering. It doesn't need fussing over. It's actually annoyed by too much water. Robert explains, if this plant were growing in the ground, it would get quite large, 2 to 3 feet tall and up to 6 feet wide. But in a container, you control the size through regular pruning. This makes it perfect for porches and patios. Put your Artemisia in full sun. Morning sun is good, afternoon sun is good, all-day sun is perfect. Make sure your soil doesn't stay wet. Use a pot with excellent drainage. Let the soil dry out between waterings, and I mean really dry out. In spring, give your Artemisia a good trim. Cut back some of the stems. This keeps the plant from getting too tall and leggy. This also encourages new bushier growth. Hardiness zones 6 to 10. Hardy container plant number 5, Wintergreen. When people think of winter plants, they often picture snow and cold and sadness. But wintergreen shows a different side of winter, a side that's actually cheerful and colorful. Wintergreen is an evergreen shrub. The leaves are thick and leathery and dark green. But here's what people really love about it, the berries. This plant produces bright red berries that stay on the plant all through the winter months. When snow is falling and everything is brown and gray, these red berries pop. They add warmth and color and life to your outdoor display. Diana Patterson loves recommending wintergreen. The growth habit is perfect for containers. It grows slowly, it stays compact and neat. It doesn't need constant trimming. It just sits there looking beautiful. If you have tight spaces, like a small porch or a narrow stoop, wintergreen fits perfectly. The foliage is dark and dense, which makes it excellent for blending with taller plants. You can put wintergreen in the front of a container arrangement with taller evergreens in the back. This creates depth and visual interest. Wintergreen likes partial light. It doesn't need full sun, but it does need some brightness. A spot that gets morning sun or dappled afternoon light is perfect. Water it only when the soil feels dry at the surface. Don't overwater. In winter, the plant is dormant, so it doesn't need as much water as it does in summer. In spring, give it a light pruning to control the shape and size. Remove any dead or diseased branches. Hardiness zones 3 to 8. Hardy container plant number 6, Redtwig dogwood. Here's a native plant that proves native plants are perfect for winter containers. Redtwig dogwood. Robert Holmes is really enthusiastic about this one. Redtwig dogwood is a native plant that people sometimes overlook. It's incredibly hardy. It looks amazing all year long, but in winter, that's when it really shines. The reason? The stems. The branches of redtwig dogwood are bright, brilliant red. In winter, when leaves fall off, you see those crimson red stems against the gray sky and white snow. It's stunning. It's eye-catching. It brings color to a time of year when color is scarce. Robert suggests plant your redtwig dogwood and pair it with some evergreen sprigs or branches around it. You can add some ornamental grasses or other textured plants. This creates a really professional-looking winter container arrangement. This plant prefers sunny locations with moist soil. But honestly, it's not too picky. It adapts well to different conditions. Once it's established, it's low maintenance. In spring, cut back some of the older stems. This encourages new growth with more of those beautiful red stems. The more you prune, the more new red stems you get, so don't be afraid to trim it. Redtwig dogwood is such a tough plant that it grows from USDA zones 2 all the way up to zone 7. If you live in a cold climate, this is your solution. Hardiness zones 2 to 7. Hardy container plant number 7, Japanese Pieris. Japanese Pieris is an ornamental shrub that looks classy and refined. If you want your porch to look elegant, this is the plant. Diana Patterson explains, Japanese Pieris is a medium-sized shrub with glossy leaves. When new growth emerges in spring, the leaves are reddish bronze. They're stunning. As the plant matures, the leaves turn a rich green. The foliage is always interesting. But there's more. Japanese Pieris blooms in late winter and early spring. The flowers hang down like little bells. They come in white, soft pink, or blush tones. The blooms are delicate and precious looking. Diana continues, Pieris pairs well with other winter plants. The form is elegant. The foliage is beautiful. The blooms are a nice surprise. Put Japanese Pieris in a spot with full sun to partial shade. It's flexible with light, but it performs best with bright, indirect light. This is important. Use rich soil when planting Pieris in a container. Mix in compost. Mix in peat moss. Mix in good quality potting soil. This plant likes soil that has plenty of organic matter. Why? Because Pieris is susceptible to root rot diseases. Good drainage is important, but so is soil that isn't too dense. You want soil that's rich, but also drains well. It's a balance. Prune your Pieris yearly in spring right after it finishes blooming. This encourages fuller, bushier growth. The more you prune, the more new red stems you get, so don't be afraid to trim it. Japanese Pieris is such a tough plant that it grows from USDA zones 2 all the way up to zone 7. If you live in a cold climate, this is your solution. Hardiness zones 2 to 7. Hardy container plant number 8, Dusty Miller. We're ending with Dusty Miller because it might be the most visually striking plant on this list. Dusty Miller has silvery foliage. Not green, not gray, silver. The leaves are lacy and wavy. When frost forms on those leaves or when snow dusts them, they look absolutely magical. The frost and snow make the silver even more brilliant and shimmering. Diana explains, Dusty Miller comes in several varieties. Some varieties are super hardy and can handle cold snaps. Other varieties prefer milder winters. If you live in a really cold area, make sure you get a hardy variety. If you have milder winters, regular Dusty Miller works beautifully in containers. The lacy, delicate foliage of Dusty Miller creates amazing contrast when planted with other winter plants. Pair it with dark evergreens or burgundy-colored plants, and the silver really pops. Plant it with red berries from Wintergreen or holly, and you get a festive, holiday look. Here's how to grow Dusty Miller successfully. Use sandy soil. Use soil with minimal organic matter. This plant actually prefers poor, lean soil. Rich soil causes problems. The plant gets leggy. The foliage becomes less dense. Make sure your pot has excellent drainage. Dusty Miller hates sitting in wet soil. In spring, remove dead leaves. This prevents fungal infections and makes room for new, healthy growth. The fresh new leaves will emerge strong and vibrant. Dusty Miller performs best in warmer zones, but hardy varieties can survive in Zone 7 with protection. Hardiness zones, 7 to 10.
Putting it all together, container design tips. Now that you know all 8 plants, let's talk about how to use them in containers. First, remember that different plants have different needs. Some like sun, some like shade, some like wet soil, some like dry soil. Group plants together that have similar needs. This makes watering and care much easier. Second, think about visual balance. Tall plants go in the back. Shorter spreading plants go around the edges. Use color contrast to make your arrangement interesting. Third, remember that your container itself is part of the design. Modern pots suit modern plants like Yucca. Classic pots work well with traditional plants like Hellebore. Terracotta works with almost everything. Fourth, don't be afraid to mix and match plants. A tall red-twig dogwood with silver Artemisia and green wintergreen creates a sophisticated arrangement. A single yucca in a modern pot can be stunning on its own. Winter container maintenance. Winter maintenance is simpler than summer maintenance, but it still matters. Water less frequently in winter. The soil dries out slowly because temperatures are cold and plants aren't actively growing. Check soil moisture before watering. Only water when the top inch feels dry. Watch for ice dams in your pots. If water fills your pot and freezes, it can damage roots. Make sure your pots have drainage holes. If you're expecting heavy rain or snow, tilt your pots slightly so water runs off. Protect your pots from extreme cold if you live somewhere really harsh. Move pots closer to your house for protection. Wrap pots in burlap if needed. This insulates the roots. Remove dead leaves and branches as you notice them. This keeps plants looking neat and prevents disease. Final thoughts. Winter doesn't have to mean a boring, empty porch. These 8 hardy container plants prove that winter can be beautiful, colorful, and interesting. Whether you choose the colorful foliage of coral bells, the drama of Yucca, the blooms of Hellebore, the sophistication of Artemisia, the festive berries of Wintergreen, the red stems of Redtwig dogwood, the elegance of Japanese Pieris, or the shimmering silver of Dusty Miller, you're creating a beautiful outdoor space. Now here's what we need from you. Share this video with your gardening friends. Comment below and tell us which plant you're most excited about. Subscribe to Seniors Gardening Advice so you don't miss future gardening tips. And hit that like button to help us create more content like this. Your porch deserves to look beautiful all year long. These plants make that possible. I'm Sam from Seniors Gardening Advice. Happy gardening, and we'll see you in the next video.